How do you feel, sister?
I'm okay. I was just thinking, um, how is this the last days or weeks processing going on for me? And I was just saying to myself that I am being more and more away. It feels so
More and more away?
more and more away. It's a very, yeah, more and more away actually. I guess part of it is why I have asked you about the change of the link, because I feel I'm very far from teaching anything now in a direct contact.
Mm.
That I'm very much moving into my own creation, which I have been within, but I have not been so completely yet within, because I've been kind of doing in a way different things and have been searching for a way to offer back home to the people and to meet with them in this context. But the last days is especially, it's like a into the we infinity on earth creation. So it's very much into within and very much away from what I assumed I would also be doing. From
Mm.
what I actually also have been cultivating as
Mm.
my offer, as my service. It feels very irrelevant in this non-judgmental way. No,
Yeah.
it really feels as if I am disappearing,
Mhm.
disappearing from the direct contact, moving into the into the one. This is the processing of the last days, and it's yeah, it's sensed, it's sensed. It's also, yeah, it's happiness in a way. It's happiness. It's like it kind of, it's in a, like, finally from everywhere into this, where I am or how I am. It it's something like this. There might be a little bit of nostalgia, but it's not yet there. But it, like, there might be a little bit of nostalgia because, you know, I also, I would, I used to love being in context with people and teaching and guiding and sharing. But it feels like this has been,
Mm.
and it's good that this has been. So yeah, I guess it feels like a big re happening now.
Redirectioning. Mm.
Yeah, it's not, yeah, and it's not so much that redirection in the sense of changing the direction, because this direction has been part, but it feels like it's more, like it's more like making the finite choice that I have done the choice, but I haven't kind of chosen it completely, because I was also like in between those many things.
Mm.
This one, this direction included And now it feels like this direction, redirecting from the many into this leaving, allowing the others just to have been as if.
Yeah.
So this is my processing of the last days.
I think I've been kind of directed in a similar way, in that it's almost like, I think I was telling you the other day, but it keeps sort of becoming more clearer into that path of sort of, since I discovered, or not discovered, but since I sort of clarified and decided that my path really is in doing this soul mission I have, as far as creating this book, this story, or that aspect of it. It's kind of like everything else has become, like you were saying, sort of irrelevant. Not irrelevant completely, I don't think that's the right word. Lesser important. Yeah. Purpose. Although, having said that, I also have been cultivating moving into this kind of doing more, sharing more, being involved more with others in more of a teaching capacity or a healing sort of capacity. And like, it's almost like once I really decided pretty much that my path is more this priority sort of in my story and in doing that aspect of my soul journey, the other stuff has become, it's kind of picked up in a sense. But I'm not trying to cultivate any of it now. It's just sort of naturally kind of coming about through request, I suppose. So, although a couple of them I'm fulfilling because I already had planned them at the end of last year, or towards the end of last year, and they're coming into fruition now. So I'm rolling with them, but I'm not attempting to create any more down the track, because I feel like I've been pulled into drawing myself into this purpose that I have to do, this creative purpose. So it's sort of a similar thing, but I'm not sure if, even today, you know, in the last few days, some of the healing stuff that I've done in myself with regards to getting physical treatment done it's like everything still is bringing me back towards drawing my attention back into this goal, back into this purpose that I have. So healing today, even releasing trauma from my body, and what was coming through was stuff that is all related to this story that I have to write. So it's all sort of pointing, everything keeps pointing in this direction. But yeah, but it's not this, I don't feel as like the way you described it then, as far as kind of feeling as kind of as much withdrawing from others in a sense, but sort of in other ways as well. Yeah. Not because I'm oversensory to them or anything, just because it's like the focus. I have to keep maintain the focus and not get the distraction, I feel. Anyway, I think you know what I mean. I'm feeling rather tired, and you know, sometimes when you're tired and your brain's like there's like a disconnect somehow between the brain and what comes out the mouth. It's like it's harder to express. It's harder to find the words to say the thoughts. Yeah. So you have to forgive me for my disconnectedness in that regard, please. It's much like that second interview that me and you did that night, where you interviewed me for my podcast. And during that interview, I remember feeling like, hang on a minute, I'm trying to say something, but my brain is processing at a different speed than my words are able to communicate. And when I played that video back to edit it, to publish it, I was like, what was going on here? It was really like, like glitching. I could recognize in me anyway the glitchiness in myself, which is why I haven't really done much with that video because of that. Yeah, I think I'm getting off track. Mhm. So have you been enjoying your writing then? Have you been getting into this purpose of creative purpose that's been you've been drawn towards?
Yeah, I've been doing some. I'm not extremely much. I've been just continuing to go through Wieczna Niewiadoma, and I've been also doing my own kind of integrating and centering processes. Much of cleansing myself, and I guess I have finally given myself the ultimate permission to do it my way, which I have given to myself, but the whole world has been telling me through different channels to use different systems, which I have been in ways resisting because I knew this is not my way, but I still have been engaging into them for shorter or longer periods of time. And I guess now, the last days actually, I have finally come into some kind of settling within the self research, within the self exploration and exploration as a source of wisdom and knowledge,
Mm.
which is nothing new, but energetically kind of it feels I'm completing.
Mm.
I'm completing certain self of mine, me, from how I may you know uh, create, be, whatever, the one
Mm.
from very different from very many different places, and from this actually fundamentally from this state of dispersing myself, actually dispersing my attention, because certain systems felt, and they still may feel, interesting, fascinating, insightful, but underneath I have always been resisting. And this is what I mean by honor my resistance, because I have never explored any of them to a depth, because I was withdrawing myself because of the very knowing, the holistic knowing, that there is something else, and this something else is me.
Well, that's
As you know, as the material, as the time space, as the reality to explore, to implore, and so on.
yeah.
That's why I've been also stripping the information externally, but I have, but yeah, but I have been being pulled, dispersing myself into different, and now it's coming into like, in a sense it feels like a bit of a final responsibility, like finally becoming responsible, but responsible in the sense of finally deciding to be how I have chosen, which is also there is a little bit of fear. It's a mix of fear and excitement, and it's very much related to the source of my first creation. I mean, Dance by My Grave, of the non-existence of death. It's this one. So there is a whenever I connect into this, like there is a certain kind of, it's very radical. It's a very radical presence. Very crystalline and very radical. So, and yeah, yeah. Incited.
Inside. It feels very aligned what you're saying though.
Uh-huh. Good to hear.
Like it feels like right to what you're saying, just seems like it's aligned with you and your path, your presence, you know. And I kind of feel it too, on a sense of, I mean, this is something I really appreciate you about you actually, is the way you pull together things. Like I can feel in my own life certain directions or certain ways that I feel I'm being drawn or I'm being directed. And I can see them, and I'll get better and better at being able to kind of observe and pause long enough to kind of witness certain aspects of where I'm being guided or what's feeling aligned or not. But I can still feel quite still kind of sense, but really bring it into an understanding that sounds clear. And then I can talk with you and you can say something like you just said, like you've said tonight or today in your time. And it's like those aspects of me that was sensing something, trying to summarize it into some kind of clear understanding. It's like you do that when you explain, like what you just explained then about yourself and the direction you're being drawn. And it's in a different way, like because we're different in that sense, but there's this like similarity on it of a sort of an evolutionary path that I feel a lot with you. And so what you just explained then is kind of like when you're saying it, there's aspects like of me going, yeah, yeah. Like I just don't seem to be able to bring it together and word it with such clarity like you do, in such a kind of very direct, in a standing way, like that you express stuff like you just did then. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So just, I guess what I'm saying is it doesn't just feel aligned relative when I feel into that or listen to you relative to you. I feel an alignment within me somehow as well with what you're saying. Mm. Which makes sense to me as well. Considering this kind of connection and this path, this purpose. But yeah. Mm. And also, I sort of see when you were saying that about bringing that the connection back through, how it's very much related to your Dance by My Grave creations. When you were saying that, I could almost see like a circle, you know, and if I think into it or feel into it or whatever, there's this kind of, I can sort of see how your last kind of direction or the things that you've been drawn to or produced or come up with in the last little while have all been connected in this way to that whole, to that there is only life. You know, and I suppose having when you're in a situation where your health is and the recommended treatments for your health are so variant to that awareness or that knowing, that really brings that radical clarity into perspective. Hey, in a sense, do you know what I mean?
Say once more.
you know, when you've been challenged in your health, in the health department, and then there's the external view of that, the external determination and plan around how you should manage that, and that is radically different than your internal knowing, or you coming into that alignment with your knowing and your um, divine truth, I guess, compared to the programmed external reality. It kind of brings a lot of, it must be something that's brought a lot of clarity in a sense, you know, like it's been a pathway to this kind of aligned clarity.
Yeah, I guess, but you know, from this perspective, anything that is from the external, anything from the external is very similar to the logic of the health department.
Mm.
They have their own external tools
Mm.
to support, to treat, to heal, to apply. And each cell of my infinite body believes in none of them,
Mm.
knows none of them. It's not about belief, it's knows none of them, knows that none of them applies to me, into me,
Mm.
because it's only the internal tools which are internal from the holistic me that are applicable in my case.
Mm.
So is this kind of like impulses from the health department, they are kind of present on a daily basis from every direction, from any direction.